Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch sits down with Just Digital Inc. CEO Hugo Fernandez to discuss how AI and agentic technology are transforming the digital marketing landscape and how med spas can leverage authentic patient experiences and solid technical foundations to stand out online. And if you want the resources you need to stand out when customers are comparing med spas, become an AmSpa member at americanmedspa.org/benefits.
All right, welcome everybody to Medical Spa Insider. This is Alex Thiersch coming to you from the virtual AmSpa Clubhouse. And we have today Hugo Fernandez, the CEO of Just Digital Inc. Also the husband of Mitra Silva, which I just realized, who has been on our podcast a few times. She's a designer of med spas, among other things. We've had a couple of great conversations. But this is not about your wife, Hugo. This is about you. So welcome to the program. I appreciate you being here. You started Just Digital, which is a marketing agency, a while back. You've grown that. I believe I read that you maybe acquired a company or two, and now you've been in healthcare and you've ventured into the medical spa space. I have to say, I'm always amazed at marketing companies, digital marketing companies as well, especially nowadays, because there's just so much going on. It's got to be just a crazy environment to be in, but also so much fun. And I want to get into AI, and I want to get into search and all the things you're getting into. But before we do that, welcome. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into some of your background.
Yeah, super pumped to be here. Super stoked for the conversation. Let's be real. You said it wasn't about our better halves, but it is definitely always about them there. I got to give her a shout out, Mitra. She's done some great podcasts. And honestly, she's the reason why I've been involved with AmSpa for a number of years. I love the community, love the people. But yeah, I started Just Digital Inc. 14 years ago now, because I wanted to empower businesses. I wanted to empower businesses with the same tools. You know, at the time it was social, so big social media push. Digital marketing was kind of starting to mature as an industry. And you know, straight out of college, I went door to door to businesses and I said, how can I make myself useful? How can I help? And that's led a 14-year journey through that. You know,
just real quick. Let me interrupt. 14 years ago, I mean, you can't be that old. That you must have been just a kid when you started that.
I was looking through some of my old videos and hard drives and stuff as I was doing some stuff with AI and cleaning stuff up, and I'm like, oh my god, I was a kid. I did not know anything, but hopefully 14 years later, I learned a thing or two. But yeah, I was straight out of college, and through that, you know, I was talking to doctors early on. I was talking to lawyers. I was talking to professional people, and I was here, this kid just with a laptop trying to be useful and build some websites and run some ads and create some content and do all that stuff. And honestly, I look back to those times and I'm like, that is one of the most joyful times where I can actually get my hands and actually do work for people and help people. Yeah. With AI now, I feel like I'm having a resurgence of that energy. In 14 years that I've been doing this, I'm like, I've never been more excited than I am today to wake up, go to work, do the things that I'm doing, because now I can, you know, impact more people. I can serve more people at a better quality. Because at the end of the day, we're a service business. And so clients are hiring us to provide a service. The tools will change. It feels like we're building on shifting sand with all the, you know, even just the algorithm changes on like Instagram, keeping up with that, or algorithm changes on Google. It's like, it's shifting sand, but those are just tools. I got to remind ourselves and our team, those are tools. It's really about the people that we're helping them accomplish their dreams, live out, you know, their best version of what they have. And then subsequently, all the patients that come in, all the clients that come in through these med spas, like they're getting married. They're, you know, after having a kid, now they're trying to, like, you know, look a specific way, feel a specific way. And so I love helping people. And that's what got us started.
That's awesome. It's interesting that you said, you know, you're kind of reinvigorated by, you know, what's happening with AI and all the tech, which, you know, I think is valid. I think I think there's a lot of folks who feel that way. There's a lot of folks who are a little bit scared and kind of just like, you know, it depends on how you look at it, but it is truly a, you know, it's an earth shifting technology that I think we're going to look back. We probably already are at this point, saying, before AI and after AI and how it's used. Just this is a loaded question. There's no way you can answer this in one simple answer. But I'm just curious, how has it most kind of impacted you? I mean, looking back on it, what's the one thing that you kind of like use? How's it most changed the way you operate and run your business?
Yeah, for me, it's an amplifier. It's an amplifier of everything, both both the good and also the bad, right? So you've seen a lot of AI slop, a lot of just junk, and if somebody emails you that you can tell it's like Chat GPT, and it's like it makes you cringe and want to fire it back and say, "Hey, rewrite this in your own words." But it is an amplifier, but for me and our team, the way that I position it is like it amplifies all the really really good things that we are good at, right? So if you're somebody with taste and you're a designer, it's just a new canvas for you. It's just a new way for you to design. If you're a great communicator, that's going to come across in the copy that you write and the emails that you write. Now with agentic AI, like you can have it do operational analysis, financial analysis. You can actually have it take action. I went deep down a rabbit hole. This is more for the business owners out there, but like I went down a deep rabbit hole, like maybe starting 40 days ago. And I'm like, how far are we? And I went into my AI setup and I said, process payroll for me. And I probably shouldn't be saying this up on a podcast, but I'm like, can it log into my bank and pay real people? And I'm like, I'm crazy, and I feel like I'm pretty tech savvy, so I wouldn't recommend this for everybody. But it allows you to it went in. It went into my banking, it went into my invoicing stuff, and it pushed out real payments. And I'm like, holy crap! Like we're there. Most of the value, I hate to scare other marketers, but most of the value that we create as marketers is a human sitting behind the computer and clicking buttons, right? Launching ads, building websites, doing SEO. It's just behind a computer clicking buttons, with the exception of the interfacing that we do with our clients. And I'm like, AI can now take over your computer and do most of that work. This is the worst it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better. I think there were a couple of like documentaries specifically from Google DeepMind that you get to see how these systems learn and how they really are terrible right at the beginning. So in that documentary, they're teaching the computer how to play Pong, and it can't score a point for the life of it. And you have I don't know if you've seen this, but it's like you have a team full of researchers, PhDs, millions of dollars of funding watching this computer play Pong. And I'm sitting there like, this is ridiculous. Why would you sit there? And that's why everybody thought they were crazy. And then, a couple months later, it scores a point and everybody just loses their mind. They're like, oh, it scored a point. And then it sucks at playing Pong for another couple of weeks. And then it wins, and then it's unbeatable. But I think for us, early 90s or whatever, mid 90s, computers were playing chess, and we're like, oh, we've kind of seen that pony, show before. This is completely different. These systems learn, and they learn really, really quick, and then actually really, really slow, and then really, really quick. And so I feel like over the last 4 months, we've gone through that shift where we got introduced to ChatGPT, kind of an earth-shattering moment for some people, but it's like, okay, we adapted over the next year or 2-3 years. But I think we just went undergoing a seismic shift. I don't know if any of that is relevant to, doing injectables on a day-to-day basis, but you guys are operators, right? You guys are business people, and these are tools. These are new tools that we're going to use to build the future.
No, we all have to, we're all going to have to adapt, and if you're not starting to use it, you're gonna get left behind. And the agentic AI side, I'm maybe about a month behind you, but I don't think I'd ever do my payroll on that. I'm not quite brave enough for that, but
I would not recommend.
But I am very, very interested in just what it can do, and just how far it can go. I mean, it's also terrifying, right? I mean, the things that you think that could happen, but it's also, I mean, man, it really is eye-opening. I don't know about you, but when I heard, maybe it's probably 6 months ago, I would read all these things saying, oh, AI is going to take all these jobs. And I was kind of like, there's always got to be some human interaction, but you start interacting with some of these agentic AI programs, and you can see what they're talking about now, because these things really they take over, and not only can they do things better and faster, the amplification, as you said, is so monumental. And they don't, I think of like the Terminator. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't rest. It's just nonstop kind of work. And for someone like you and your clients, like that allows them to amplify their message. And I guess this kind of leads into one of the things I wanted to talk about is, we talk about, and I don't even know where to start with this. How, like, if you're a practice, like, I don't even know how to tell somebody nowadays, like, how do you get found on the internet? Because I don't even know if do algorithms even work now? Because with all the AI and everything, just searching, reproducing, posting, I don't even know what's human and what's not human anymore. It's got to be a real difficult task to try to figure out how to amplify somebody's practice when there's just so much noise out there right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm sort of an eternal optimist, but I have to train myself because you go through these panic moments of like, oh no, like I just articulated like, hey, all the value I create is on a computer and now an AI can do it. I'm like, I could easily go down, spiral out of control. But I'm like, where's the opportunity here? Where's the upside? And honestly, like once you just start looking for it, you start finding it, and it's an incredible time to be alive. It's also, to your point of like, how do you get found online? It's an incredible time to be a human, because this conversation that you and I are having right now, Alex, is an N of one. Like this conversation, I mean, unless there's multiverse is real, like there's no other place that this conversation is taking place, right now. And so, that's something AI can't create those human experiences. You guys in your med spas, in your practices, you guys are having unique individual experiences with that unique patient, that unique client, that unique person right then and there that won't be replicated by your competitor. There might be similar ones, right? They might even do the similar treatment at the same exact time with a different person, but it's not that person sitting in your treatment room doing the things that you're doing with that patient. Your job is to capture as much of that and share it with the world. That's the authenticity, right? It's like Susie came in on a Tuesday. It was her day off. She was spoiling herself, right? And she had a rough, and then just like that story, like people will resonate with that much more than the gazillionth promo on, your Botox discount or like some trendy dancey thing, right? It's like well, that might be fun too, but people want those kind of those experiences. And the cool thing is you can take that experience. Now you have some social content, but also more, like even more powerful to get discovered. You can empower that person to tell other people in a video testimonial, in a great before and after, in a case study that then you publish on your website. Make sure you give them a great experience, so you can ask them for a review, and they leave you a great 5-star review. And now they said, hey, I got, this facial or this chemical peel or whatever the treatment is that they received. They put that in the review, and now you have a great review. Now you've created one experience in your practice and amplified that across all of these different platforms just from that one experience, right? And so that becomes all searchable, all crawlable. At the end of the day, these are still the way it works is to a degree, it still crawls the internet. Right. So if you go on ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or anything and ask it a question about a specific business, it will go look at their Google business profile, their Yelp, obviously their website, look at some social media, Facebook, Instagram, so on. We'll do a complete scan on that and then serve you a result that is much richer and much more relevant. The way that I think about this now is, I don't know what your personal experience is with using these platforms for personal use, but most of us use it for all sorts of things, from a simple recipe to I started with a new personal trainer, so he was giving me some advice. I created a meal plan. I fit in my personal trainer stuff in there. I connected it to my health app. It gave me my caloric it gave me all the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like that's a continuation of a really long multi-year engagement with that platform, right? With ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, wherever you end up using more. So that actual meal plan is much more catered to like, you know what? I actually don't like whitefish. I do like whitefish, but I'm just saying I don't like whitefish. So don't put that in my meal plan. I don't need to tell it that, right? It remembers that. Or I don't enjoy running. I enjoy lifting. It knows all of these things about you. So then when let's say I'm using a separate example, I'll turn this back into med spa in a second. let's say when I'm like, hey, my back's a little tight. I already went to the chiropractor. My personal trainer can't help me. What is the best, let's say I just want a massage. What's the best massage place? It knows the hotels that I visited. It knows the things that I like, my preferences. It knows where I live. And it makes a specific recommendation to me that is slightly, often actually, way better than what I would just do if I like massage places near me, right? Or physical therapy. Let's say I would shift that a little bit. Let's do physical therapy. I'm like, I need a physical therapist because it's a ligament issue or whatever. Okay, so then I get a more hyper, I get something way more hyper recommended to my unique taste that would be very hard to do with traditional search. But the process of getting there, of you getting discovered, is still the same. Like, you still need reviews, you still need a website, you still need a Yelp, you still need a Google business profile. All of these things still stand true. But now it's like you have to be more in depth rather than like, hey, the front office receptionist was great. It's like, no, just more detailed on that. Create a better experience so that you can capture that N of one experience that you're having in your treatment room and then magnify it. Another example is, I'll keep using my personal, but it's like, I'm like, oh, I'm noticing like some sort of cratering on my face, and I'm just chatting with ChatGPT late at night, and I'm just like, it's not a huge concern, but I'm like, I'm curious what's out there. I'll take a picture, I'll put it in the AI, and it will say, well, it looks like acne scarring, and I'm like, I don't have any acne, and then it's like, okay, well, it could be A, B, C, D. Try these products. I go and try those products. I'm like, it's still not working. What do I do now? Oh, well, you should go to a microneedling session, or you should go try a CO2 laser, or you should try this specific facial, right? And here are 3 providers. Next thing I can do at 11, 12 p.m., I can say, book me an appointment, right? Find a time on my calendar, book me an appointment. Guess what? The med spa that is set up to receive those agent requests, like they have the right tech stack, they have the right EMR, whatever software they're using. Now that agent can go look at my calendar, grab that spot, and then go look at their calendar, book the appointment, and say, your appointment's confirmed. It's on your calendar. Details are there. Make sure to grab lunch on your way there because you have stack day, right? And that'll happen. Like, and that's we're so close to that actually being reality. I mean, it's happened to myself in certain circumstances. It's like one final example, and I'll end here, is you just got engaged, right? That's everybody kind of uses this example. You just got engaged, but that's a full picture. You're thinking about catering, you're thinking about location, you're thinking about your dress, but in the middle, I'm like, oh man, I need to start today or at this specific time because my wedding's at that time, and so you need to time all these things, and it can make you a full plan, and it can recommend all the med spas that are going to do your chemical peels, that are going to do your facials, that are going to do your laser treatments. It can even order stuff for you, over the counter stuff, to help you achieve your goal. Yeah. Right. And so the buyer behavior is changing, but the cool thing about you as a med spa is all you have to do is do the fundamentals right. Right. Make sure you pay attention to your website. Make sure you do all the stuff that we've been talking about, because those will continue to be crawled. So it's sort of a convergence of all of these things, which makes it really exciting and hopefully less overwhelming for practice owners, where it's like, okay, you just do a great job, and then empower those people in those treatment rooms, and then empower those people so that you can then amplify that one experience, because AI is going to treat that as original content. Everybody tells you to create great content and original content. Well, how do you actually do that? Hopefully this gives you some ideas on how do you actually take that and amplify it across, across the internet.
So, I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is that all of the traditional things that practices are used to doing with med spas, which is making sure that you have all those I don't want to call them tools, but they are those tools and that foundation in place, website, all those things that have the information that are going to be crawled and searched anyway. That's just going to happen a lot more frequently and a lot deeper. So you've got to have a lot more of it, and you've got to have it a lot more connected, so that it can actually be searched. Because otherwise you're going to fall behind if you're not able to be found.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it's working with the right partner. Whether it's an internal marketing person or an office staff or an agency like ours, that it does the common sense stuff, right? So if you go to your website and you only have one place where it mentions your location, that's going to be a problem. You need to tell people like the specific treatment and the specific location, because especially if you have a multiple locations. So it's a little bit more technical than, I just need to create a lot of content. right? So you have to the soundness of the technical setup is important. In SEO terms, you might need like better schema markup, right? And so or add more actual structured FAQs, frequently asked questions, for your on your website that the AIs can crawl. And then you need to be able to track that. So making sure you have obviously Google Analytics, but the software, your EMR is actually able to capture the transaction, capture the booking. So where that booking came from, right? Some of these EMRs don't give you source tracking, and you don't really know like how people found you. They might just say, "Oh, I Googled you," or "I found you online," or whatever the case may be. And so you need to make sure that your software is set up. And so working with the right vendors, working with the right partners, making sure they might not have all the answers, but they need to be thinking about this kind of stuff.
Thank you to our partners from Gloss Genius for sponsoring this podcast. Something no one tells you is the better your business does, the more time it takes to run it. More appointments and more locations end up meaning more hours spent on scheduling, charts, follow-ups, and marketing, instead of the time with your clients and staff, let alone your friends and family. But there's a better way, where you can keep growing and get more time back. Gloss Genius is the intelligence system that handles more of the work for you. Scheduling, payments, charting, marketing, staff management, and client follow-up, all automatically, working in the background to fill your calendar, grow your revenue, and keep clients coming back. Over 5,000 med spas and aesthetic practices already trust it to run their operations so they can focus on their vision. Are you ready to earn more and actually get your time back? Use code AMSPA at glossgenius.com for 50% off the first 2 months of their med spa and aesthetic plans. Thanks again. Now back to the show. All right. So one question this is maybe a really stupid question, so forgive me, but is like when you're producing stuff on your website or all these things that you're talking about, that's done by AI, because what we're seeing now is everyone's using AI now to produce all the content. Does that is that searched differently? Like is Google, like through their AI, Gemini and ChatGPT, when they're doing their, like, have things changed now where you're not found as easily if you're not original content, or if you don't have super deep content? I mean, that's the thing that that I would be concerned about as a business owner, is that I always want to make sure that I have what I need to have to get found. Yes. But I would also be concerned that things are going to move so fast that it doesn't take long to get left behind. But how do you know, with all the different things that are happening? It seems like the pace of the technology is moving so quickly. When you have someone like Google, who is running things basically when it comes to the searchability, and then you also have Meta, and I heard that Microsoft Bing now is making a comeback because they're running things through there with Copilot. Like, it just seems to me like, my goodness, how do you even possibly keep up with that, with the way these AI companies are searching things? What's the answer to keep up?
Yeah. With AI, it's again going back to the amplifier thing. It's really easy to create a lot of junk. So you can tell it, hey, go write me 100 blog articles, and come back to your desk, and 10 minutes later they're uploaded to your website, and you're like, okay, cool. Now go make me 100 service pages or whatever. Like, you don't want to do that, because you haven't reviewed anything. It's not valuable to anybody. It's not relevant to anybody. Nobody wants to read an AI generated email from you. If one of your team members sends you that, like I had a team member send me, their analysis, and it was clearly AI generated. And I said, I don't know if I'm debating the AI or I'm debating you. Go synthesize this. I don't mind that they're using AI, but go synthesize it and tell me what you really think. And their actual thought was like 2 sentences, but they thought it was too direct. Right. And I'm like, I'd rather get those 2 direct sentences than 7 paragraphs on that don't really get to the point. So it's about using AI properly to amplify the good stuff. We use AI to generate content, but it has to be high quality, relevant. All the traditional boring stuff that you've been hearing for 20 years now of creating good content, that is even more true, right? If you can smell an AI design from a mile away, you can see it when somebody's using it in their video scripts, when somebody's doing it. Now, AI is trained on all the best copywriters, on human psychology, on what moves people, what motivates people. That's okay. You can use that. You can use the principles. You can learn the principles and then implement that into your writing, even if it's AI generated. But what you can't do is just take it and start generating AI slop, right? Especially in healthcare, because you give bad advice, right? And if you don't have the human oversight of saying, or the model that is trained on that specific, treatment plan or that specific condition, you're gonna potentially land yourself in trouble. But it probably just as bad as that is you're gonna get ignored, and AI will LLMs and Google will derank you. So it comes down to three things: it has to be relevant to the person that is reading it, relevant and useful. It has to come from an authority figure and somebody that you trust. So relevance, authority, and trust. If I today, Alex, were to come and pretend to be an expert on legal matters in the aesthetic medical space industry and start writing blog articles and pages and spin up a competitor, nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares about what I am. I'm not a lawyer, right? I don't put on these big conferences that you guys put on. So like, these AIs are going to know that I'm not an authority figure, that I'm not trust, even if it's mildly relevant, but it probably won't be relevant either because I don't know what I'm talking about, right? And so me trying to create that type of content is a disaster. You using it to create that content and you actually reading it and producing stuff that is going to help your people, like that is going to be infinitely more valuable for the world. And as a result, AIs are going to reward you. Right. So in the hands of the right people, these are phenomenal tools, but you don't want to just create slop.
Yeah. One question I got when we just got back from Medical Spa Show, and we obviously AI was a huge topic. People, I thought everyone was using it. Not as many as I thought. I mean, there's folks that are obviously using it, but there's folks that aren't using it as much. One question I get is, okay, I'm not using it like I should. I feel like I'm falling behind. What's the one thing I should be doing? Like, what's one thing if I want to start? If I want to get, like, when it comes to marketing, especially, because that's your specialty, if I want to start utilizing this with a company like yours, or if I have somebody, internal, how can I start something I can wrap my head around? A lot of these owners have so much to do. They don't have the time. Some of them are, they've been providers for many years. They're not natural business people. What's the kind of one or two things they can get after right away?
Yeah. Three things. One, become a user of the tools, just on your personal life. Like that's why I gave you the personal trainer example, or, a couple others. Become a user, because you're going to get a ton of value from these tools. So download ChatGPT. Obviously, most of us already have that. Download the Gemini app and download Claude. Those are kind of the three big ones. So Claude, Chat, and Gemini. I'm huge on Claude right now, but that might shift in a week, 3 months. I don't know. These are all kind of in the same bucket. They're figuring it out, and they're spending trillions of dollars to do so. So I'll let them figure that out. But become a user. That's number one. Two, inspire and encourage your team to do the same. And to have kind of a positive outlook, right? Because if you fear it, whatever you fear, why would you go touch it? And so go and inspire your team and share examples of how you're using it. The more examples, the more case studies. There's people trying to treat their own cancers, for God's sake. You know what I mean? When with all this stuff, so there's a lot of good that people are trying to do, right? And so I hope that you get a chance to participate in that. When it comes to marketing, because now that you're a user of it, educate yourself on what works, what doesn't, and ask questions. Don't come in and say, oh, well, it would be like me going to my doctor and saying, look at my treatment plan, you should give me this medication. I'm like, no, he's going to ignore me, right? And so instead, ask good questions to the providers that you're working with, to the software people, to the marketing people. Ask them, very thoughtful, intelligent questions. Educate yourself through that product, and then make sure that you're working with the right partners, the right marketing agency like us. I'm huge on empowering our clients and helping them be self-sufficient. I never want to feel like we're holding anybody hostage, right? I want to be able to educate them, train them, and then have them be self-sufficient. And so make sure that you're working with a partner who has your long-term best interest in mind, not just trying to, to make those few bucks. And same thing with software providers. Make sure that they're embracing it, that they're using it, that they're integrating it in safe ways to protect your data. But make sure you're working with those folks. So I think most of the world is frankly behind. I would like 95% of businesses out there are not using it, and so I do think that you have some time.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
I am. I can.
I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. I'll have to talk to my people, figure out what's
It uses your browser RAM, and so I'm using Google Chrome, but I don't know what browser you're using. So it uses whatever short-term memory. Yeah, and Chrome is very, very heavy, and so it takes a copy of it, tries to upload it. I don't know why. I've had this issue happen with Riverside before, but it just doesn't it doesn't have the infrastructure to be able to process that much video and audio, in my experience.
I've had it with using other folks who've used Riverside with me before, and it's kind of annoying. There's got to be a way. Anyway, all right. Let me. That's still recording. All right, let's do this. Let me. It's been a good half hour anyway. Let me ask a couple more follow-ups, and then we'll wrap up and just make sure. I want to wrap up. See what we got on this, because. And then.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy to do a V2 and sort it out. Yeah.
If we have to, I'll let me find out, and then I think yours has been uploaded, so I think we'll be pretty good. Still recording. Okay, a couple final questions for you. Where do you? I mean, with aesthetics in particular, your original marketing company when you started was not in aesthetics. I think you were in healthcare a little bit. You've moved into aesthetics, which is especially med spas and non-surgical aesthetics is a very distinct industry. I'm curious kind of what you think about the industry itself, why you moved into aesthetics. And then once we get through that, like, I would love to know that story, but then also what's, where do we think, what is this industry going to look like with marketing AI? I used to ask 12 months from now, but I don't even know if you can go out 12 months. It's too far. Like, you've got to go like 6 months, 3 months with what AI is doing. But I'm curious, go back to the first part of the question. Getting into aesthetics. I know your wife was in it and got you introduced to it to us, but what's been your impression of the med spa industry thus far?
My job as a marketer is to connect people to products and services that they want and need, period. Right. So like humans are buying products and services that they find valuable, that is going to help them achieve their goals, their dreams, solve a problem, so on and so forth. And so, the demand is there for aesthetics. It's a booming industry. Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's a booming industry, and everybody's trying to rush to it in one way, shape, or form, because people are living longer, they're healthier, they're more concerned about the way they look. Wellness as a whole, and kind of medicine as a whole is going to continue to transform over the next 20 years. AI is going to have a profound impact on that. We're going to live longer. We're going to want to look better, and so it's just common sense of like, this is a big opportunity for the people there, and it's a blend of the stuff that I love, which is entrepreneurship, small businesses, helping people do more of what they love, and kind of the more technical side of things, right? The science of it all, without going all the way into the deep end of healthcare. And so because of all that, and we've had a lot of clients, and because there's demand, that means when we run a campaign, a Google ad campaign, a social media campaign, people respond well to that, and we can generate leads for that, and which then makes our clients happy. And so we like happy clients. And so at the beginning of this year, we launched Asthera Marketing, astheramarketing.com, specifically dedicated to serving the aesthetic medical space. Even though we've been, serving aesthetic practices for 12 of those 14 years, we never really formalized it. And so now I'm excited to build a team of leaders, of people who love this industry, and be able to have the depth, not just the results and the lead gen and driving people, in office visits. But I'm excited for the future of Asthera.
Let me stop you real quick, because I'm curious. What was the impetus and the drive behind creating Asthera versus keeping your current brand? You've been in aesthetics. What's the drive there, and what do you hope to achieve?
Whenever you're doing any good marketing, you have to resonate with the people that you're trying to serve, right? And so if you're a generalist agency, like, okay, yes, I might need, SEO and PPC or Google Ads or whatever. But the team that we hire is spread out across different industries, versus now the team that we're trying to build is going to be, they have to have aesthetic medical background, whether working at a med spa or working in marketing in the aesthetic space. And so, because then it makes that even more effective for our clients, right? Because they know the full menu of treatments and where that buyer journey is, how that buyer journey is structured. And so one, it's for us if you're a medical practice and you go to Asthera Marketing, we want to make sure that you feel like you're in the right place and you're working with people that understand your industry, not just the marketing side of things. And then for internal operations wise, it allows us to attract that talent that loves and cares about that. Yeah. Maybe more so than a law practice, as an example, right? We can still do it, but at the end of the day, we're still running social, we're still running ads, we're still building websites, we're still doing all the same stuff, but we need the team that is just absolutely great at what they do on the marketing side, but also the aesthetic side. And so it's just a matter of matching those audiences.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's really cool.
And for me, it shows a commitment to the industry that, like, hey, I want to actually help, and we're going to put our resources behind it to make sure that you get the absolute best experience, versus going to your local Joe or the big ad agency who you're going to get lost in the shuffle. We're really built for those aesthetic practices, like between the 1 to 5 million, who maybe are starting to think about a second location or want to bring, expand. So then provide resources through AmSpa for education to get them to their first $1 million in revenue. So that's kind of our goal, our sweet spot there with Asthera.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's there's no question that we need the help. It's such an interesting industry because there's so many folks who are so passionate, and I found a lot of providers have really good marketing instincts. They know how to reach people and connect. It's just, how do you do the tools and the foundation and the actual things to make it an actual business and grow it.
Oh, and we're phenomenal at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Especially from a marketing side, like the technical side. If you want, I can answer your other question of where are we going in the next 12 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
I think the
what's happening?
The industry is maturing. I feel like it's still, well, the industry, but I mean AI is maturing. And so, we're now 3 years into this new technology. If you remember the early internet days or the early social days, it was kind of the wild, wild west, building as we go. And so now I think over the next 12 months, people, these AI companies need to find revenue sources and need to find ways to monetize. And so they need to, and where do you monetize? Well, with businesses, right? And so they're going to give us tools that allow us to show up on AI search results. So like Google has a tech stack to be able to track, obviously with Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Tag Manager, all of those things those are tools of the trade for us. With AI, those tools don't exist yet. Right. Everybody's just kind of guessing, and using their best instincts. I think those tool stacks will continue to get funded because again, there's a big pressure to monetize, all this investment, this CapEx that's going into the industry. And so that's good news for us because we hopefully will be able to set up more integrations. Like if you're running a Shopify account, right, you can connect that to an LLM now. It can go run that Shopify, website for you, but also, feature your products and integrate better into those experiences. And so that's why working with a good tech partner, a good software company that is integrating with these partners is going to be huge. And so for you, it'll give you, just like you can go right now and set up an Instagram ad yourself or with a professional help, it's going to start to continue to democratize a lot of that access to those tools. And so that's one thing I'm super excited for us specifically as an agency to be able to serve our clients.
Yeah. All right, so you're not predicting end of the world robots taking over quite yet, at least.
I can't wait for the day that I can replace myself as CEO for this, so I can go have margaritas with our clients, or whatever. That would be amazing. I think we're far away from that. Yeah, and so I mean, yeah, margaritas sound nicer than sitting behind a computer.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join. I know you're busy. Where can folks find more about Astera? And if they want to know more about what you guys offer, what's the best way to reach out and get in touch?
Yeah, AsteraMarketing.com or on Instagram, Astera Marketing. We're going to try to be that focus on creating content there that'll be helpful for people. So AsteraMarketing.com. Join our newsletter because we're going to be sending out super valuable stuff, webinars and content and podcasts like this. And so I would love to see you there. AsteraMarketing.com.
That's awesome. And we'll have to, now that you and your wife Mitra are in the industry, you can do like joint marketing design things. The world is your oyster now. This is great. You got all kinds of stuff. It's going to be awesome.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, let's, we'll have you back and we'll check in, and I appreciate your time. And, hopefully in 6 months we'll all still be here. But honestly, I can't wait to see where we are in 6 months. I think 6 months is a lifetime right now in this industry, and so it's going to be it's going to be fun to see where we are. But I appreciate your time.
What I would love for you, Alex, is in the next 12 months for you to use AI to increase substantially the next AmpSpa show, the next show in Vegas. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. You can have it say, hey, here's our stats, here's our numbers, here's what we did. Make me a marketing plan, go stress out your marketing team with that and give it access to the analytics. Yeah. So it'll be fun. I think
it is. It's really fun, for a business owner, I have to say, and I think you can relate to this more than anyone probably. It is really, really fun to dig into things you can find out and start planning, and it's just it almost becomes I think it's also very easy to get overwhelmed because you can generate so much stuff, right? So many plans and ideas and fully built out formulated ideas, whereas before you could just be like, I got this. Now, like you can have fully formed things that you want to implement, and it now for us it's okay, how do we figure out what we want to do and scale and be able to actually implement things based upon all this information and data that we are finding out. So, but nevertheless, like it's really, really cool and fun to be able to just kind of daydream a little bit and dig into it and look at stuff, because it allows you to operate in a way that I never thought would be possible, even 2 years ago.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited to continue the conversation throughout the next few months.
I appreciate it. I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for joining.
Cool. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Muller, Marketing Content Coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, Digital Marketing Supervisor. Our themes are provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a full service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.